Good afternoon and welcome back to Bahrain for the continuation of the opening Formula 2 weekend of the season. Today we have the first race of the new era. It's a shorter distance with 23 laps, no mandatory pit stops, but we will have tyre management, and just like yesterday, it will be defining. Welcome to the conclusion of round one of the 2017 FIA Formula 2 season. I'm your commentator, Alex Jakes, and that should be our pole sitter, Nobahara Matsushita. He had a nightmare time of it yesterday. He described it himself as really difficult as he got through his tyres, and for the last 15 minutes or so, the ART team have been surrounding their man, trying to get him out. He, instead of starting first with a lovely clear run down to turn one, will be forced to wait for all the other cars, the other 19 on the grid. He starts from the pit lane. What an opportunity then for Luca Giotto, who the last time he won a sprint race in this machinery started from second on the grid. Alexander Albon was very quick indeed yesterday at the end of the race. He will be eyeing up an opportunity. He had a great time yesterday. Ollie Rowland, he's had a mixed weekend, but he's going to be another man to watch, starting from what is fourth on the grid, third. Then we have Jordan King. He just got ahead, had a lot of fun, went from 11th to 4th. Then Leclerc, a podium on debut. He starts 6th on the grid, 5th in order. Then we've got Nato and the incredible winner from yesterday, Artem Markelov, working in sync with his engineers to deliver a really impressive victory. He goes from 8th. Then we've got Fuoco and De Vries, who ran out of tyres in a big way. Next up, Latifi, whose race really crumbled when he made contact with De Vries. Then Boschong, who was very positive about his first experience in Formula 2. Kamara actually got a penalty. He did finish 12th. He was dropped 5 seconds for clashing, or actually forcing, Boschong off the road. Then we had Canamassas. Johnny Cecotto made a great start, faded from there with rear tyre wear. Stefano Coletti had to pit twice. Will he try a pit stop today? And then we've got Galeo, Malia, Jeffrey, and last on the grid, Louis Delatraz, who was apologizing to the team after stalling on the grid yesterday. He was happy with the pace, but he was not happy with the position. Alongside me today to describe the action as well, the man who did the double here in 2012 in this machinery, Davide Valseghi. What a nightmare for Nobahara Matsushita.
Ciao Alex, Matsushita is in a big trouble. He got the chance to start it in pole position, and then now look at him starting from the pit lane. It will be last just at the end of the first lap, and he has to recover. But great chance for Giotto and for Albon, starting from the right side. Is the left side on the grid, but is the good one considering that is the clean line, so Albon can have a good chance at the first break.
He really is going to have a good chance on the clean side of the grid. The man who is effectively now in pole position but second on the grid, Luca Giotto, will be keen today to match his teammates' exploits. He was saying that the dirty side of the grid really hurt his getaway, and once you're following another car, the effect it has on your tyres at this, the most extreme Formula 2 event on the Pirelli medium tyres of the year, it really hurt him, and he said that everyone else had a rather poor getaway. We saw that with Nick De Vries yesterday, but he has right now a great opportunity to get into the clear air if he gets a good start, look after his tyres and make amends, because you never want to be beaten by your teammate. Not only beaten, but he was down in 7th when Markelov's standing on the top step.
Yeah, you're right. Giotto has a good chance today, but it's not easy to come first at the first corner, because the straight there is so wide, it's so open, that it's really difficult to choose the right line. The best choice is to have a good start and try to be the first one at the first corner. It will be not easy, because Roland behind him usually is really aggressive.
Yeah, Ollie Rowland will be keen to open his account at this level. You see the conditions here. A lot of sand being blown across the circuit. We're on board with the man who starts first. Nobahara Matsushita, if you're just tuning in, is starting from the pit lane. And Giotto has won around this circuit before in GP3. So he knows the fastest way around the 3.3 miles, 5.4 kilometers, as we await them leaving the grid and beginning the process of warming tyres and brakes. A lot of talk in the paddock earlier about, given the amount of degradation that we saw yesterday, a possible pit stop. Of course, this is the sprint race. You don't have to make a pit stop. It's usually lights to flag on the same tyres. But given what we saw yesterday with the huge amount of deg, some were looking, or at least requesting the numbers, one of which was Jordan King, wanted to see the numbers about whether a pit stop would be worth it. It's very marginal, but it is track temperature of 42 degrees, and those sort of conditions really do require you to have a look at maybe making a pit stop in the sprint race.
It will be important for the driver to take a look about the tires and conserve it during the race, so you have to be aggressive, really aggressive at the start for the first few laps to maintain your position or to try to gain some places, and then conserve the tires, look after it. But in the last few laps you have to explode whatever you have, and considering the condition, considering the world temperature, considering the wind that can create trouble to the drivers, I think the top 8, everyone can win.
Should be. There's such a depth of talent in this field, there really is. That's one of the exciting things about Formula 2 this year. Many drivers from the GP2 series that are returning to Formula 2 this year have stood on the podium. 14, in fact, have managed that, are returning. 12 have been on the podium. You see there, as we've got the pole man at the end of the pit lane, not where he wanted to be. He is no longer the pole man. That falls to Luca Ghiotto. So elsewhere, who are we going to focus on? Norman Nato was a man to watch yesterday. He said he looked like he was struggling on the medium tyres, but he said that wasn't the case. He was just running to a preordained pace that his Arden team had said, you don't go any faster. And that is why, having passed Leclerc, he was dropped back and Leclerc was able to get him. There is the reigning GP2 champion, Pierre Gasly, who is the reserve driver for Red Bull, and will be taking part in the test around this circuit that follows the Formula 1 Grand Prix. Sergio Canamassa said he extracted the absolute maximum. We saw him yesterday waving out of the window at Antonio Fuoco. That was because he was unhappy with Fuoco changing line in the braking zone coming down from 300 kilometers. That certainly keeps you awake. There is Canamassas about to take his grid slot in 14th, and we'll be hoping to get into the top 8. A reminder that the top 8 score points today, and there are 2 points for fastest lap. Nick de Vries will be hoping for better in his Rapax. He said it was a tough race in every sense. It'll be really interesting to see how this one unfolds. Remember, we were talking about the possibility of pit stops, but they do have much less fuel in the car at the start, and that will help them nurse the tyres in the early stages. Matsushita may be in the pit lane, but he told me earlier that he wasn't really aggressive in any way at all, but that was still too aggressive on this rubber at the start. So, what a task for the 19 drivers on the grid and the 1 in the pit lane. You've got to attack, but not take too much out of the tyres, as we have 4 lights, 5 lights, and the Formula 2 sprint race is on in Bahrain, with a good start there for the man who was in 3rd on the grid, and he's straight past Alexander Albon into the lead. It was another poor getaway for Luca Ghiotto, but he's not prepared to relinquish the lead, and he's got the inside line. Jordan King trying to go right around the outside and up into 3rd place. Has he got it? He's wheel to wheel with Leclerc. That will give an opportunity to Nato, but Ghiotto maintained the lead, and he absolutely had to if he wanted to be a factor. Ollie Rowland getting very racy indeed. Albon still trying to make an impression on the leader, and it's Ollie Rowland who is going to claim. Is it 3rd or is it 4th? They're 3 wide coming out of turn number 4, and it's Leclerc in the end who prevails, and contact, and off goes Norman Nato into the gravel and out of the race. A brilliant day for him yesterday, but he's got no further than turn number 5. That is what happens when you run 3 wide for so long. That might require a virtual safety car at the very least, as Leclerc right behind his former GP3 teammate in 3rd place, looking very racy at this stage, but what a disaster for Norman Nato.
Yeah, seems that Nato lost pressure on the rear tires, maybe for a contact in corner 4, and he lost the control of the car in the entry of the fast chicane. Not easy for him.
Oh, it's getting very close there between de Vries and Coletti, and bang, straight through. So Nato reporting the puncher, and we have a safety car to neutralize the order. They will all be given the message on the radio, and that really where you could see how desperately the guys wanted to get to the front there. You see that on any lap, but with that being so important for the tires, they were desperate. There is the Mercedes safety car. Let's hear from camera.
I think I have a puncture.
So 2 punches on the opening lap of the race, but wow, that really was very, very tight indeed into turn number 1 between Albon, who got the better getaway, and Luca Giotto. You saw in the background there a car peeling off. Here he is, Sergio Sette Camera, I should say, and he is in to be received by the MP Motorsport crew. And he will change the tyres. Nato out of the race. We had everyone somehow managing to finish yesterday. Not going to be the case, and that is really disappointing for a driver that many have tipped to be involved in the title battle, but you've got to score points in both weekends. You can't afford non-scores, and I know it's very early on, but that could be crucial at the end.
Was not an easy condition for Norman Nato. The approach of corner 4, they were completely open. Four cars by side, and Norman Nato has been touched by someone, and they lost pressure in the tires. He comes in the next corner, he lost the control, and he went off. Really disappointing for Norman Nato, but Markelov, that was just behind him, he was clever and smart to back off and to give the space. Look, he has the cut on the right back tires.
We're gonna box this lap and get a free pit stop with fresher tires on everybody.
Wow, so we were talking about they're going to go the other way. What tires are they going to put on? A reminder, at the start of the weekend, they received 5 sets of tires. They have 3 mediums.
Yes, softer.
You're quite right. Markelov. Now we didn't see that on the grid, but Artem Markelov started on the soft tire, so he was always going to take the pit stop option. We couldn't see that out of the window, so he was trying something incredible.
He was planning the safety car strategy, because yeah, he started with soft and he was planning to put medium during the race. Really strange, eh?
Well, they were all fairly marginal about doing it, but Markelov seemingly wanting to go on the attack, and he will now come in. Not sure if that's going to work too well, but never doubt Artem Markelov making tyres last.
I think we can stay with 6 tires now. Okay, if you want to stay, then we can stay, and then we have to recover the time on track.
So Markelov overruling after the team gave him a phenomenal strategy yesterday. He's decided to make the call. So we're waiting for Markelov. There he is, the only man in the field on the soft tyre. I wonder if anyone else will try. Of course, this brings Matsushita to the closer to the back of the field. So camera's still in the pit lane. We might be about to lose a second car. We're on board with Bert Mylander's safety car there for the moment. You look at the MP car, predominantly English mechanics, described by Jordan King as an old school English racing team. And that really just compounds the opening to the race. The young Brazilian driver has had 18 years of age, the youngest man on the grid, and this was oh so important. The start of the race, we see it one more time. Bit of a poor getaway in the middle there for Kamara. Let's see it one more time from there. You see he got away rather slowly. His teammate ahead, Jordan King, immediately on the charge from 5th to 3rd at this point, and then it all got very tight indeed. Giotto refusing to let Albon make advantage of that. Leclerc toughing it out nicely. You see King there in the white and orange car, had to get out of it to avoid contact with Leclerc, and this is where it all went wrong for Norman Nato. You see Ollie Rowland diving to the inside. This is where they were 3 wide. King cleverly deciding to get out of it. Is this going to be the contact? Right there, there you go. End plate of the front wing, and then you see the puncture caused, and then off the road and out of the race for Norman Nato.
Really good start for Giotto. Look, Nato was on the outside, yes, big touch just at the end of turn 4, and then he lost the control in the entry of the chicane. Really good Giotto at the start, that he was brave to deep, really. Look, Giotto didn't start so well. Albon on the outside, seems that he was overtaking him, but look, Albon closed the door, but Giotto believed in it. He braked so deep, and then he opened the line in exit, just to maintain and conserve the position. Also Leclerc did a good start, that he managed very well at the first corner, and he was able to exit third. So really well done from Leclerc. Look, all the inside, and then he brakes and he closed the line on the exit.
And we're racing once again down the kilometre-long straight with Luca Giotto looking in his mirrors because he knows the attack is about to come from Alexander Albon, who forces into the inside but locks up. Is he going to be able to make the corner? Is he going to open the door for Leclerc behind the two former teammates going wheel to wheel? And that was so hairy there. Here comes Leclerc once again, being forced off the road. We're on board with him. That was very, very marginal indeed as they head to turn number 4. Leclerc, who started 6th on the grid, momentarily up to 2nd, but is he going to manage to hold on to the position? He's gone all the way around the outside, and that is some move. Davide's applauding, you might be as well. That was fantastic for Charles Leclerc, was unhappy with his start yesterday. He's got a flyer today, and he's up to 2nd in the race, making full use of that restart.
He was so aggressive, he was so brave. He went on the outside at that corner that is not easy. He believed in it, and he had a good exit. Really well done for Leclerc.
The incident involving Ollie Rowland and Norman Nato being looked at by the stewards, but I think that is just the nature of turn number 4 when you have a driver on the outside. Ollie Rowland thinking about a move. Oh, he risked one down the inside there as they went into turn 11, and Albon, after threatening for the lead coming down into turn 1, locked up, and he's taking a little bit of time to recompose himself. Ollie Rowland, opportunistic, up into 3rd position. He had a searing overtake yesterday on Nick de Vries. He's just pulled another blinder out on Alexander Albon to get himself up to 3rd, but he will be vulnerable as they go down the main straight once again.
What a move from Rowland, that he surprised Albon just at the entry of the second last corner. It's not easy place to overtake.
Over the line once more.
Rowland and Nato under investigation. We're still P6. Keep pushing them to make mistakes and destroy the tires. It will be better for us later.
So fascinating to see Markelov going past King. So Ollie Rowland has set the fastest lap, but that is surely going to go the way of Artem Markelov, given the rubber he is on. We saw an enormous difference. This is for the lead of the race. Charles Leclerc yesterday, when he had trouble with the tyre, said he just tried to stay calm. He just tried to sit there and look after the mediums. Well, he's not looking after them today. He's on maximum attack. And we go on board with the Ferrari Academy Monegasque driver heading down to turn number 8. And he's got race victory for the first time in Formula 2 in his sights. The man who so impressively won the GP3 title. And Nato, unfortunately for him, and unfortunately for us, because he is always so entertaining behind the wheel, rendered a spectator for getting the commiseration of the team. So, Giotto had a better middle sector, able to pull away a little bit, but Markelov putting massive pressure on, elected against taking the free pit stop, and you can see why, because he wouldn't have really gained anything to go on the same tyre as everyone else so early on. There would have been no real difference until the very final laps, and so Markelov's going to try and make the softs last. That's what Russian Time told you. They think they can really extend the life of these soft tyres, at least they did at the start of the weekend. We're about to find out whether it works in reality. Artem Markelov tucked underneath Albon, who's not able to recover the pace that we saw, and Markelov sailing by on the soft rubber. How far can Markelov go on the racetrack with this pit stop strategy, or can he make the soft tyres last? I think that's fairly unlikely, but we've seen some amazing things from Markelov so far this weekend. He's having to go defensive, but he's got the position from Alexander Albon, who is forced to the outside. So a confirmation of the classification after 6 really intense laps of the Bahrain International Circuit. Giotto continuing to lead, lost the lead momentarily, but he got it back into turn 1 and he stayed there for how much longer we'll have to see. Then it's Leclerc, Rowland, Markelov, Albon, and then we look down the order to King in 6th place. We're on board with Nicholas Latifi, who has just been passed by Antonio Fuoco. That is for 7th position, and Fuoco looking to recover after a day that he just wanted to forget about. He said he wanted to cancel it, forget about it, and come back today. That's exactly what he's doing. Coletti and Canamasas racing each other. It's just like old times at turn number 8. On board with Latifi. He was currently in 6th position at this time. And there's the contact. He had contact to lose the front wing yesterday, and the momentum lost there by hitting Jordan King. So just not expecting King to be so slow, tight to the apex, and it allowed Fuoco, the other Prima car, to go around the outside and improve his position. Artem Markelov now has Ollie Rowland in his sights on the softer rubber, and so Markelov is on maximum attack. He's surely not going to be managing the tyres at this point, and he's getting much, much closer to Rowland. Well, we're seeing an alternate strategy yesterday. Remember, Russian time went 2 laps longer and then waited for 5 laps out of the pits on the softer rubber. The engineer constantly telling Markelov, wait, wait, wait. And then he dropped the hammer to such devastating effect. And once again, he's doing something totally different to the rest of the field as they head on to lap number 7. Jordan King looking very racy right now on Alexander Albon. But with the use of DRS, he might be able to keep him behind. No, it's King into the braking zone, last of the late breakers, and he gets the move completed. Albon having to tuck in, and Albon, who momentarily had the lead on the first lap, now dropping down the order. That's down to 6th for Albon, 5th for Jordan King. And what's that Markelov down the inside of Ollie Rowland? He's got him down the inside of turn number 4, and he is past the Russian time driver on the charge once again around this circuit. He's putting together a remarkable weekend, but he's got to put together a sensational weekend if he's going to emulate you, Davide, by taking the double. Antonio Fuoco, he's getting past his rival from GP3 last year. Albon really struggling. He had a difficult start yesterday. He's having a difficult opening stint of this race today.
Markelov is coming back, he's in recovering position, he's really on fire. Good start from Antonio Fuoco, that seems to run really quick. Albon is struggling a bit, but we have to remember the race of yesterday. The race will be decided in the last few laps. It will be important to conserve the tri race and to be quick just in the end, under the flags.
Coming into the 3rd and final sector of this lap. You saw the fastest lap of the race. Markelov off the road there at the top. He is giving it absolutely everything, and he's lighting up our timing screens. Fastest man in the 1st sector, fastest man in the 2nd sector. He is really giving it everything to try and make this audacious strategy work next in his sights. 2nd place man, Charles Leclerc, who is electing to score a double podium on debut weekend, which would be very impressive indeed. Giotto just wandering off the racing line for a moment there, trying to break the toe of Leclerc, but it's not really proving that effective at the moment. What do you reckon? What chance do you reckon for Markelov, who's just set the fastest lap of the race?
Not easy for him, but they were saying during the test that sometimes soft they could last longer than medium, so maybe he can make the surprise today, running the soft tires till the end. He's the only in the track. It can be really surprising if he can make it.
Nobuharu Matsushita, who had to start in the pit lanes, managed to get himself up to 13th position, and he is now racing Johnny Cecotto. No, nothing between the leaders here. Wow, that was so very close coming out. We've seen a bit of contact this weekend by the driver behind being slightly surprised by the speed off the corner of the car in front. Nicholas Latifi has damaged the front a couple of times, but now with the use of DRS wide open, Luca Giotto doesn't have it. Charles Leclerc does. Russian time versus this man in the Prima, and you can see it's been all very close in the opening laps, but he managed to regain the time with the use of DRS. He's got him in his sights, and he is right underneath him. Giotto seemingly struggling. We did see this yesterday with Luca. Luca really struggling at this moment to get off the corners, and Russian time have a man in the lead and a man in 3rd position going rapidly on an alternate strategy, but the fly in the ointment is Charles Leclerc, and he is surely, with the use of DRS, going to have a wonderful chance into turn 1.
Yeah, he had a good exit. Leclerc had a good exit, opened the DRS. Now he will have the chance, maybe will be, oh, Giotto is going to cruise the line.
He's gone super defensive super early on. He knows his lead is under threat, and straight through into the lead goes Charles Leclerc. He had the lead for many laps yesterday and couldn't convert it, but in the sprint he has gone straight through, and there was nothing, seemingly, that Giotto could do to repel Leclerc, and he just bolted through there with the use of DRS, and I don't think Markelov will be held up for one moment. They'll be on the radio to Giotto that he's on a different strategy. We're on board with Nick de Vries, the Rapax car, heading in to turn number 4. We've got Canamassas in front of us, and Canamassas running off the road. Is that going to get very tight when they rejoin? Nothing between them. Oh, how was there not contact there? I don't know how they managed to avoid an accident, but somehow they did. De Vries is coming under threat now from his teammate, Johnny Cecotto. They are all battling at the moment over 9th place. De Vries trying it down the inside. Don't try it into turn 9. Oh, he knows better not to. He's going to try it into 10, though. Oh, he was circumspect, and then he was brilliant.
Look, we've got 15 laps to go, so use your DRS and slip behind them, mate. Use your DRS.
So with Canamassas continuing to wave out of the cockpit at his competitors, Giotto being told on the radio that he's got to use his DRS, and he's got a long way to go in this race. Clearly not very happy at all. And has he fallen out of DRS zone? He might have fallen out of the way already. Latifi now right up behind Albon, who does not have the pace. He's got a mangled front nose, but by the end of the straight, he might have 7th position in this sprint race.
Leclerc is pulling away, and Markelov is going to the pit.
So Russian time are ready. They are the first crew in this pit lane. Not far to go. You've got to love Artem Markelov and Russian time for trying this, but they need something truly exceptional on these tyres. They're about to lose 30 seconds. They've got an Arda behind that. Sean Galeo coming in as well. That costs him even more time. A really optimised stop as Jeffrey going past Malia there down into turn number 1 at the very end. An optimised stop takes about 32 seconds. I think that was a little bit earlier, and well, he just needs to give it absolutely everything when everyone else is trying. Behind, Galel has gone on to the soft rubber, so he's done the opposite. Yeah, Markelov forced to give it the full beans now.
To be honest, my friend, it seems that if it doesn't come the safety car into the truck, looks impossible, the strategy of Russian times today.
Well, they tried something exceptional yesterday, but we need something almost unbelievable today to see them back at the front. Nick de Vries in 9th place, his debut weekend in this machinery.
We go to a plan B?
Plan B would be coming into the pit lane. I mean, I know they're speaking in code, but it's not a very complex code, is it? Here's de Vries on board, heading into turn 11, trying to get past the Campos in front of Coletti, and he's going to do the switchback. He's going to get the power down nice and early, and he's got the move completed. So not the day on tyres he wanted yesterday, but slightly better as Coletti heads backwards, and the Rapax gets past the Campos and up then into 9th position. So some of the field considering pit stops. It's unusual territory for the sprint race, and the team's looking all rather nervous in the pit lane. Fuoco now in the other Prema, looking very, very good in comparison to yesterday. So he's clearly sat down and analysed the data. He's got a great chance as they head up to turn number 4.
Yeah, it's close, Fuoco, it's close. It seems that his performance is much better than yesterday. On the outside, he breaks deep.
Is he going to be able to pull off another outstanding move with better traction? Force wide by King. He's going to have the inside line. King's not going to give up, though. Now he's had to. Jordan King using all of his experience there in this equipment to back out. And that is really racy stuff from Antonio Fuoco.
Fuoco missed the break.
Oh, he might have undone it, though, after all the hard work. It's going to be so close. He might just have the advantage into 9. Is King going to try a late move into 10? No, he's not. And for the moment, Antonio Fuoco has 4th position in this intriguing second race of the weekend.
Good for Fuoco because he's quick, he's performing now. He's done some really good overtakes. Seems that they can have a really good race. Leclerc and Fuoco, they are the quickest guys in the truck at the moment.
We saw there Ralph Boschong has had to retire. So it looks like a suspension failure, I'm hearing in my ear, for Boschong, and he is the second retirement from this race after Norman Nato was eliminated on the very first lap. So Leclerc looking pretty comfortable at the moment. But remember, of course, we saw yesterday they weren't able to make the tyres last all the way through. It looked very good for victory for him 24 hours ago, and only for Markelov to come roaring back. Keep you in touch with Markelov. He is out there, and we're going to get an indication in a couple of moments of the lap times he is pumping in. But he's given himself an awful lot to do with Leclerc setting the fastest lap of the race, a 1:46.2 at the moment, and Prima having a really good day. Remember, it's worth underlining it, of all the teams in the field, only Prima have not raced here in Bahrain before, and so they had the testing beforehand, but that was much cooler in terms of temperatures. It's 12 degrees more today. Air temperature is 27, track temperature 39.
It's strange, the strategy from Leclerc. Okay, he's leading the race. He did perfectly until now, but now he's flying 1:46.2. He just set the best lap time of the race. Is 1 second, 0.5 quicker than anyone else. He's pushing so much. One is leading. I don't know, today he's flying. It seems that he's not worried at all about the degradation of tires. Really good for him.
Well, we heard on the radio about plan B. I would suggest that we've probably got Luca Ghiotto absolutely going to the end of the race. Ollie Rowland, you would think, also going to the race. But has Leclerc decided that that is simply not going to work for Prima on the medium tyres? Is he now bolting away, trying to build a gap for a pit stop later in this race?
Yeah, but come on, man, I'm leading the race 4 seconds in front of everyone. No way that I'm going to stop in the box. My idea is to keep going until the flag.
So lights to flag strategy for Davide. Can't wait to see how it turns out at the end of this race. It is extreme out there. Such a test for team and driver. So Russian time ace it yesterday. Jordan King, who described it like going home to the MP Motorsport team. He's enjoying it there. There's always a difference in culture between the predominantly French mechanics that he has, and Ollie Rowland getting very close to Luca Ghiotto, throwing one to the inside, and Ollie Rowland makes the move up into second position in this race. And you know what, I don't think Ghiotto is going to fight it very hard. He knows that his main battle is not with the car in front, but with his tyres to the end of the race. He's looking, but I don't think you're ever going to see him try a late lunge there. Ollie Rowland confirming that he is very much a part of the title picture, and he is looking very good indeed to get himself onto the podium at the moment.
Yeah, it was a good move from Rowland, that usually is a great racer and he has a good talent in the overtakes. It was a good move because he surprised Ghiotto just at the end of the break. It seems that he was a bit too far to try the attack, but he brakes so deep and easily get the overtake to Ghiotto, so really good.
Very bumpy indeed down into turn number 10. You see a lot of lockups there in practice and qualifying. We're not seeing a lot now because the drivers know they simply cannot afford to, with the degradation being such an important thing. I wonder whether the drivers are going to find in the last laps that they did not need to be as cautious as they were. We had that in GP3 in Barcelona last year, where all the drivers were sort of waiting for this drop-off, and it never came. It never arrived. Latifi very close. He's been there for a very long time, hasn't he? Tucked up behind Alexander Albon, who has managed to stabilize after a difficult opening few laps of this race, where he found himself going from second down the order to sixth. And so
Fuoco is good, eh? He started ninth, at the moment he's fourth. The second guy is there, just in front of him, Ghiotto for the third position, podium position. Now he opened the DRS. Ghiotto the same, so it will be not easy for Fuoco try to overtakes.
Ghiotto, the saving grace for him is that he's managed to stay within a second of Ollie Rowland, and he still had the DRS. When that goes, which it looks like it might, the next time around, Fuoco with a great opportunity to get past his countryman ahead. Once again, Ollie Rowland leading this train of cars. Second, third, fourth, and fifth in your picture. Fifth there, Jordan King, really trying to maximize his experience and look after the tires. There is a ginormous difference between, if you're wondering where the race leader is, he's miles out in front. 7.8 seconds, running a second a lap faster, and Fuoco doesn't need to wait until the main straight. He's throwing one down the inside of turn 8, and it wasn't the right move in the end. Great opportunistic attempt, but it didn't come off. And every single time you go offline, get off the racing line, dirty the tyres. It's not what you need in terms of degradation. But Fuoco, he's desperate to get past, and now he's got the use of DRS.
It was a good move from Fuoco, but it was too far away. He had to brake so deep to try to surprehend Giotto, and they missed a bit the brake. Giotto crossed the line in the exit, and they got back the position.
Looking
very good, Antonio. Pace very good. Stay out.
Looking out of the window, sorry for interrupting the team radio there, looking out of the window, Prema are out in the pit lane, ready to receive, well, who's it going to be? Is it going to be the race leader? Here they are! So,
oh, come on.
Leclerc has been setting absolutely rapid lap times, lap after lap, giving it everything he's got, and this is why, in the pits, he's going to try plan B, and that is to have a pit stop in a sprint race, and try and side his way back through the field. Off come the mediums, on go the softs. They need a quick pit stop. They've got a quick pit stop. Great work by the Italian outfit, who don't like the look of the smoke much. And Latifi has finally been able to make the move on Alexander Albon after having about 5 laps. Now, where does Leclerc come out?
Come on, it's impossible, the strategy from my point of view. I hope to be wrong for the Prema team, but it looks impossible. 8 laps to the end. How is it possible to gain so much time to the leader? At the moment, Roland is leading the race. Looks impossible from us.
Looking good for Ollie Rowland. Davide doubting it. I should tell you as well, for track position, that Leclerc got out in front of Artem Markelov, who had come in earlier. And well, it's really in the balance now. Is Leclerc and Markelov's pit stop strategy going to be proven to be the right one, or are we going to see these guys eke even more life out of the tyres than even they were expecting? Ollie Rowland, the race leader. Luca Giotto has been passed by a few, but he's still got himself up into second place at the moment, still repelling Antonio Fuoco behind, and Jordan King, who came on really strong at the end of yesterday's race, just sitting there hoping for a first podium.
Where is Leclerc? He's miles away at the moment.
He is miles away. We did see an enormous gap, didn't we, between the different compounds, and I find it really strange that they started Markelov on the soft tyre, because the traditional route to go, if you were going to try this, might be, you would suggest, to go from the mediums to the softs, and now Leclerc will just try and attack and attack and attack. We saw in qualifying how effective he is when he's having to push. He's put in fastest lap after fastest lap, and now Antonio Fuoco with the use of DRS. This time Giotto doesn't have it. It is opening and closing. Does he have the inside line? Does he have the position? This is for second. Antonio Fuoco has made the move, parks it on the apex, slows down his rival, and takes a position on the podium higher than he had before. That's what he's used to in GP3, and now he's got it in Formula 2. Giotto is not going to try and fight back, but he's gone pretty defensive there, Fuoco. That's going to give an opportunity not only to Giotto behind, but King as well. Nothing between these 3 drivers as they go through the tight and technical twisting section down to turn number 8.
Really good for Antonio Fuoco, that is going for the victory, because he had really good overtakes. He had a trouble, I think, with the DRS because of the main straight. He was opening and close open, and he lost a bit of speed, but Fuoco seems on fire at the moment, and is one of the quickest in the track out of the driver that already pit.
We did really see on many occasions last year that the racecraft of Antonio Fuoco, he was with Trident, not with the all-powerful ART team in GP3 that have claimed the team title in 6 of the last 7 series there, so they really are the team to be with. But Fuoco managed to win 2 races almost opportunistically last year. These are days where Fuoco shines. Is this to be a day where Charles Leclerc manages to light it up in front of us? And I can tell you he's lighting up our timing screens. 32.6 in the first sector.
You have a damage, you have a damage. No, but he gives me no space and he drives it like crazy.
Delatraz not enjoying racing. Canamasas, welcome to Formula 2. That is something that many drivers have had to get used to down the years. Jordan King with a great chance now to make the move and get himself onto the podium as it stands. But Giotto, when Giotto's got the DRS, he's pretty difficult to pass in a straight line, and Jordan King finding that for the moment.
He's flying, Leclerc. He's 12 at the moment, 1:44.0. Full second, 0.3, quicker than the leader Roland. maybe the strategy of Power Team will pay at the end. I'm not sure, because he's 12 at the moment. He has to overtake 11 cars to get the leadership, but he's flying at the moment. Leclerc is the quickest by far of the race.
Don't count him out. We saw it decided on the penultimate lap for the lead. This is the man on the charge. He's in another race compared to Louis Delatraz, who he makes light work of. Leclerc, almost PlayStation stuff as he went past the racing engineering there. Slightly difficult customer ahead in Sergio Canamassas, but surely Canamassas will be told on the radio there's no point in fighting the guy behind. Is he going to try it into turn number 10? No, he thinks better of it, and probably wisely as well. This time he'll get DRS on the car in front, and I don't think that is the difference. Look at the difference in the traction zone. He's pulled alongside. He's got the inside line. When it comes to braking, it's going to be Charles Leclerc's corner, and it's 2 cars in 3 corners for the Monegasque driver, who now finds himself in 10th with a really audacious strategy. Are they going to be able to make it work? Leclerc definitely has the pace at this stage. He is 17 seconds away from the race leader, Ollie Rowland, as he goes past Stefano Coletti. He's passed before the braking zone, and he's going to get DRS because the detection zone is there. So it's more advancement for Leclerc. Boschong looking on. Wonder what he makes of it. He's one of only 2 retirements from this race.
What a race from Leclerc, that he's fighting with everything. Giotto, he come back on Fuoco.
So Fuoco got past. Fuoco very leery off the corner as well. Could be getting worse for the Prima driver, who's driving heavily on his mirrors, and now he's driving King nearly off the road. King didn't want to find out what it was like to continue off the road there, and he tucks back in. Super robust defense from the Italian driver, but Giotto, after that period of tyre management, are we seeing what we saw yesterday with Nato, where he hasn't got the degradation, he's just running to a preconceived plan, and that was a late braking move. Giotto returning the favour that he had slapped on him a few laps ago.
So consider the situation to Fuoco. I think that Prema was worried about the degradation of tires and so decided to be extreme with Leclerc. Fuoco stay out, and they start to suffering now on degradation.
Worth reminding you that yesterday the latest that anyone came into the pits was lap 19, so this is where the tyres really struggle. Leclerc going absolutely rapidly at the moment, 3 seconds a lap faster than the race leader, but he's still got 14.8 seconds to make up. Wow, it's in the balance now. This is terrific stuff. You see there the winglet for the turning vane, I should say, for Ollie Rowland. The back has come off, and you always see the winglets coming loose. But at the moment, a little bit of a lock-up. Can't afford too many of them. And now Fuoco, has he gone off the cliff? Because Jordan King, who's just been sitting there and waiting and didn't fancy throwing one down the inside. Maybe he didn't risk it because he knew he didn't need to. With the use of DRS, he's tucked right underneath the Prima. And King is eyeing up 3rd place in the race. In fact, he's got it done well before the braking zone. 5 to go in this race, and it is really something. Latifi making amends. Here comes Leclerc, the rocket, through into turn number 1. So Markelov's strategy, he's down in 15th. They just went the wrong way. They went from soft to medium. It's not proven the best, but Leclerc is making something really special work at the moment. He's got 5 laps in which to try and get himself back onto the podium. And this is why Prima elected to put their man on a 1-stop in a race where normally you do not need one. And you saw Fuoco with a huge amount of oversteer coming out of turn number 7. Next up for Latifi is Fuoco. He will be trying to take 4th in the race.
Perfect race for the moment for Rowland and Giotto. They are running 1:48 and they stabilize. Oh!
Leclerc trying another move on his former teammate. This is amazing to watch. Inching ever closer, now up to 7th. He's got himself into the points. We saw something special yesterday. This would be remarkable to watch today. It's all been about tyres, and the guys at the front are trying to hold on, while Leclerc absolutely maximum attack. Back to his teammate and the battle with Latifi. Leclerc really looks like, if he's not heading to the cliff, he's certainly peering over it. Latifi lining him up. Will he get him before the braking zone? I think he will, you know. He's easily passed. And that is going from bad to worse now. Foucault will just be hoping to keep it in the points. Very similar to what we saw with De Vries yesterday. He's just dropping like a stone. Will he be able to come back? It's going to be very hard indeed without DRS. Remember, the detection point is further away, and look in the background, the two teammates are lining up line astern on the racetrack. Charles Leclerc setting the timing screens on fire. He's got past De Vries, he's up to 6th place, and he is a factor in this race, which is frankly an unbelievable sentence to say.
Yeah, you're right. He's special, this man. Look how easy overtakes the other contenders. He's doing fantastically. No, it's unbelievable what he's doing, Leclerc, because he got the contenders, and then boom, immediately, without any trouble, he makes the overtake. Look on this teammate, Foucault. Tom, on the inside, easily. He didn't lose any chance doing the overtakes. What a race from Leclerc.
Great move. He was never going to be given a difficult time by his teammate on fading tyres, but now Charles Leclerc in 5th. How high can he go? Can he wrestle back the race lead? Ollie Rowland will be being fed this information all the time by his engineer on the radio. Jose will be telling it in his ear. Used to be Alex Lynn's engineer, and he'll be keeping him updated on board with the man that is on the charge. Saw it from Markelov yesterday. You can see how much earlier he can get on the power than Latifi. That is the difference. Even overtaking all the cars last time around, he was 4 seconds faster, but this is where he's losing out. This is where Ollie Rowland might be able to hang on. We are running out of time in this race, but which way is it going to go? You see the comparison between the race leader and the man we're on board with on your picture. It is going to be very simple for him with the traction and the DRS to clear Latifi. Latifi will not need to worry about it. Wow, Leclerc has given it everything. He'll be absolutely loving it. Drivers love to go on the attack. He's alongside. Just needs to make sure not to lock up. Remember, his softs will be degrading at this point as well. Oh, very close into the braking zone to contact. That is the difficulty for having to clear loads of tyres. In the background, Nick De Vries has made Foucault's day even worse. He's managed to get past, and let's see now Jordan King. Nothing he can do, surely, as they head in. Nothing King will want to do. He is looking after the tyres. He's focused now on keeping behind Nicholas Latifi and trying to take another very strong 4th place in the race. That's what he managed yesterday. Here is Luca Ghiotto, who, as we've been focusing on Leclerc, has been getting closer and closer to Ollie Rowland, who is running slower and slower, trying to maintain the tyres.
Was so smart, Leclerc. Look, you wait till the main straight. He overtook Latifi, and then look at the brakes. He braked deep. He opened the line to stay close in the exit and to have the chance to overtake King on the next corner. What a move! He's thinking to the next corner to try to get these guys, and he's coming.
He certainly is coming. He is getting ever closer. At the moment, Rowland trying to hang on to the race lead for Luca Ghiotto, but these two can't afford to have a battle where they force each other off the racing line onto the dirty part of the racetrack, onto the marbles. And the reason why, you can just about see the red flash in the background. Charles Leclerc, here he comes. He's surely got enough time, but it's easier said than done. If he can get within range, it's not going to be a battle. We've seen that, but I can't underline how impressive it's been to make all of those moves work when he came out in the middle of the racetrack. Here comes Ghiotto.
If they fight, they lose.
Rowland's trying to force him, but he can't help it. He went defensive. Ghiotto going the long way round and getting the lead of the race when it matters. Ghiotto will be slow, but all of the time they fight each other. Leclerc will be rubbing his hands.
No, if they fight, they lose. Come on, Ghiotto, you need to pull away.
The guys can't help but fight for it at this stage, but he's getting closer, guys.
He's coming.
He's coming. There he is. They're still racing side by side. Rowland doesn't want to give it up. This is for race victory. With this equipment, we've seen Ollie Rowland on the podium many times, but never on the top step. And has Ghiotto got it at the moment? We're on the penultimate lap, but look how much time it's cost them with the fresh rubber of Charles Leclerc. And these two fighting at the front to change the lead so late on. Exactly what we saw yesterday repeated. Leclerc just has to stay calm, and surely, surely, surely he's going to be able to take victory away from Ghiotto on the last lap. But what state are his tyres in? Wow.
What a race! Oh, Leclerc is really close. Now he has to manage really well the first overtakes. He has not to lose the momentum, so it's important to have Roland on the main straight and then Giotto in the last lap. The only chance for Giotto is to pull away from the DRS zone. Giotto has to push at the maximum. He still has a great chance of victory now.
Here we go, on we are approaching the 23rd and final lap of a race that has been absorbing. Markelov tried something different, it didn't go the right way, but Leclerc is managing to make a pretty unlikely strategy work. He's currently third, he's got the DRS, he's moving past, and there's nothing Ollie Rowland can do. Will he fight back in the braking zone? We've seen he can be so late on the brakes, the man from Yorkshire, but he can't. Charles Leclerc up to second. There is one car between him and the most sensational victory. It's Luca Giotto, and he's right there.
It's too far.
They are into the final part
It's too
of
far.
the lap. It's really, really close. He's not going to get it done. But remember, there is one more DRS zone. Oh, he might have opened the door. Luca Giotto's opened the door, and Charles Leclerc takes the lead. He's passed absolutely everyone to get himself back to the front.
Wow.
And we are about to see a man taking a pit stop on his way to race victory in the very first Formula 2 sprint race. I barely have the words to convey how fantastic that has been to watch Charles Leclerc make it work, and he's just got to hang on for half a lap more to complete. Well, we've seen some great drives in his career so far, but this surely one of the best.
Prema and Leclerc, I'm really sorry. You made the right strategy. You made a fantastic race. And the guys, the driver, made so easily some overtakes. You are a star. Wow, what a race today. It's the first time that I see the sprint race win with a pit stop. Great race for Prema, great race for Leclerc.
Well, Russian Time had the right idea, didn't they? They just went in the wrong order with their tyres. But it's one thing to have the tyre advantage. It's another thing entirely to make it work. That is an absolutely phenomenal drive from Charles Leclerc, who crosses the line to win the sprint race in Bahrain in Formula 2. Look what it means to him. Charles, that was magnificent. Wow, that was some race. Luca Giotto finishes second. Ollie Rowland is third. Unseen by us, Nicholas Latifi got past Jordan King. Nick de Vries was sixth, a good recovery for yesterday. Albon was in seventh. Artem Markelov was the final point scorer in eighth. And we have seen a weekend of unbelievable strategy calls. He is your phenomenal winner.
Good job, guys. First one.
Yes! Yes! Oh! That one is easy too, thank you very much. Oh. We learned a little bit from yesterday, so that's positive. Thank you for the great car. Oh. Yes!
This was a good one.
You're not wrong, Charles. You're not wrong. That really was absolutely brilliant to watch. And
yeah, but the speed of this guy, he was unbelievable today. He was so quick, he was leading the race, 8 seconds in front of everyone, and then just after the pit stop he was flying. 4 seconds per lap quicker than everyone else. But the good thing was that he was so good and so smart and so clever in doing the overtakes that he didn't lose any time struggling behind cars, and he got the chance, he created himself the chance for the victory. Really well done, and great strategy from Prema. He surprised everyone. Well done.
that was something really, really remarkable. Put a little bit of context for us. How difficult is it to pass that volume of cars without one wide moment, without one lock-up? You're absolutely on the limit. I know he had the advantage, but I think it's really worth underlining. So many passes, might have been a 4-second a lap advantage. That makes the passing easier. But the consistency of the speed in that stint was really, really something.
Yeah, you're right. It's that was magnificent. It was so good and so quick still at the end, because the driver was so good to make the overtakes smooth, without stressing the tires, without overheating the rear. He made everything in a perfect way. He took the victory with a great idea of the team, but the driver made it special.
He took 3 wins in GP3 last year on his way to the title. He is already up to 1 in Formula 2. And he won't forget today in a hurry. Made to work for it, made to sweat in the sweltering conditions, but he won't mind one bit. Look at what it means to the Prima mechanics. That is really, really excellent to see. They're a passionate team, and in their traditional livery, they've got the red, white and green on the car. It's what we associate with Prima. And the Ferrari junior driver delivering. He's been talked about for a very long time. He showed us why in GP3. Well, there are going to be a lot of headlines written. Magnificent strategy, and the driver who executed it, Charles Leclerc, deserving every single moment of those applause.
Yes.
I'm not surprised he's pumped up after pulling that off. You're so claustrophobic in the car.
It was perfect. First race in F2, and he got first weekend, he got to the first week.
I think Giotto will be slightly disappointed to have locked up there at turn number 4, but realistically, what was he going to do on the back straight? It was never, ever going to be able to be possible to defend at the end there.
Yeah, you're right. He had the chance to try to win with the overtakes to Roland Giotto, but then Leclerc, he was so clever and so quick to overtake Roland, and he got immediately the slipstream of Giotto. There was no way in the last lap to try to maintain the position for Giotto. That anyway was the first guy with the other strategy, with the normal one, and he did a good race.
Charles Leclerc is the winner after 23 pretty unbelievable laps of Bahrain and this opening Formula 2 weekend. Then Giotto and Roland, whose battle for the lead at the end really cost them any chance of victory. Then we had Latifi, King, De Vries recovering well yesterday after a bit of a nightmare with the tyres. And then we had Albon, Markelov was the final point scorer. Then Cecotto, Fuoco, Canamassas, Delatraz, Malia, Matsushita. Well, what could he have done if he'd started from his proper grid slot? And then we had Coletti, Jeffrey, Galeo, and Sergio Sette Camara managed to get himself back into the race, but we are understandably focusing on the winner, and I don't think you're going to be able to yeah, you see he now takes the lead, in very early lead in the Formula 2 Championship. Markelov, just hearing the drivers here.
I could see on the screen that you're after this. Oh, I didn't believe that either. Like, until 5 laps to the end, I was like, it's impossible. And then the last 2 laps, you started to fight a little bit.
I really hope you were fighting a bit more. No, I hope you were fighting a bit more the last time.
We just turned straight past me already, done.
Yeah, that's how I
That's a bit of that into trying to crash. Okay. You need to be in the top 10, not for this.
Yeah.
And that's what I tried to get on the outside in the first lap. Okay. And he's cut back on the track and he's got his
Well, fascinating to hear Ollie Roland there say, I was waiting for you. They would have known that there was very little they could do. How much do you think their battle between second and third hurt them on that last lap? Or do you think it was always going to be Charles? I think he was going to get them. It's just a question of whether he got them at turn 4 or the final corner.
Yeah, you're right. Final corner on turn 4, but the reality was that it was so good, Leclerc so quick at the end that there was no way for the others.
Ollie Roland onto the podium with Dams, his new team, and he's had to work for it by the looks of things. Luca Giotto pleased to recover after a disappointing Saturday with a strong Sunday. And he really earned this. Phenomenal stuff. We're going to hear the national anthem of Monaco for Charles Leclerc. The national anthem of Monaco played for the worthy winner, Charles Leclerc. It's a great trophy this year. Look at that. Fantastic. And he really earns it. You can see he's absolutely delighted. But you can see how much is taken out of all of them. Absolutely brutal conditions for all of them out there. The Otto managed to do so well in his debut season of GP2 last year, 3 times on the podium then. It's a first Formula 2 podium for him. Likewise, Ollie Rowland, 4 times on a GP2 podium last year. And he opens his account in Formula 2, and they have earned this. I was speaking to Gerhard Berger earlier, and he said these conditions are nothing compared to Phoenix, but they really had to work out there. Artem Markelov's strategy didn't work today. He will be happy with 28 points for the weekend, though. And we have been treated to rich entertainment this weekend as they get together. And Ferrari in attendance. Kimi Räikkönen in the twilight years of his career. You have to wonder whether Leclerc is putting himself in the shop window at the right time. Davide, thank you so much for your company.
Thanks to you, was a great race. Another great race.
Another great weekend. What a way to start Formula 2. We're back in Barcelona on the 12th, 13th and 14th of May. Join us then when the amazing Formula 2 returns.
Tell him not fight or what? I have.
international circuit. Okay, what a start for his F2 season for Charles Leclerc. The trophy is presented.